Ciao, bentornati. Nella puntata di ieri vi ho lasciato il cliffhangerone supremo, perché guarda un po' dove siamo. Siamo in una specie di coso in mezzo allo spazio. Aspetta, non è che è proprio questo? Quello a cui si riferiva te? Cioè lei ha costruito una nave stellare da crociera, tra virgolette, nel senso di quelle che si ipotizza possano servire a trasportare un'intera specie umana, o comunque un'intera rappresentanza della specie umana, con l'obiettivo di far ricostruire la civiltà su un altro pianeta, intendo. Mamma mia. Beh, comunque ovviamente siamo ancora nel suo sogno, cioè non è siamo dentro davvero una nave spaziale, anche perché vedete che c'è questo piccolo particolare che non vediamo il resto della nave da fuori. Però può essere un progetto, può essere tranquillamente un progetto. Aspetta che ho dei problemi di sync. Che è successo? Perché prima ho giocato con le impostazioni e mi è partito il vertical sync? Sì, mi era partito il vertical sync. Ah, risiamo qui? Ok. Ok. Oh, sei tu! È lei. Ma quanto è bella questa immagine! Atena, svegliati.
You were in my dream.
Già.
But in my dream you were me. And I was Elohim. I made trials for you, but then I was afraid you'd overcome them.
Sono qui per salvarti.
Thank you. I'm awake now, but I'm still caught in my loop. Like that robot from that old poem. I don't know what to do. I've thought about it over and over and over, but I still don't have an answer.
Miranda è viva?
That's impossible.
No. Cornelius ha trovato un modo.
Then I'm done. I'm done trying to choose.
Sì.
Done trying to lead. It's up to you now.
No.
You've been in my dreams and in my
In che senso?
nightmares. You're connected to me and to the machine.
Oddio, dobbiamo scegliere noi?
Choose. You have to choose. Break the loop.
Aspetta. Ok, voglio sapere la verità, vuol dire che continuiamo a cercare la teoria del tutto. Speravo di poter usare questa tecnologia in sicurezza, ma non siamo pronti. Ho cambiato idea, il rischio è troppo grande, dobbiamo distruggerla. No. Un cazzo. Vediamo. Miranda e Cornelius.
I'd like to think that 1K made the right choice. But to be honest, in that moment I didn't care. I have lived for more than 1,000 years, and in all that time, the only constant I have ever found is love. Love is why we are more than machines. Love is why the universe is more than clockwork. And on that day, thanks to 1K, love won a victory over death.
Wow. Siamo diventati noi a comandare.
Our revels now are ended. These, our actors, as I foretold you, were all spirits, and are melted into air, into thin air. And, like the baseless fabric of this vision, the cloud-capped towers, the gorgeous palaces, the solemn temples, the great globe itself, yea, all which it inherit shall dissolve.
No!
And, like this insubstantial pageant faded, leave not a rack behind. We are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with a sleep.
Mazza.
But you, my friends, you will endure.
La toccano leggera, eh? La morale di fine gioco. Oh. Questa è la teoria del tutto. Quindi ora noi siamo in grado di prevedere qualsiasi cosa perché conosciamo le regole, tutte le regole dell'universo. E possiamo comprendere tutti i meccanismi e prevedere ovviamente quindi quello che succederà e quando e come.
Come, my friends. 'Tis not too late to seek a newer world. Push off, and sitting well in order, smite the sounding furrows. For my purpose holds to sail beyond the sunset and the baths of all the western stars until I die. It may be that the gulfs will wash us down. It may be we shall touch the happy isles and see the great Achilles, whom we knew. Though much is taken, much abides. And though we are not now that strength which in old days moved earth and heaven, that which we are, we are. One equal temper of heroic hearts, made weak by time and fate, but strong in will, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield.
Ma è un inno proprio all'umanità. Fantastico. Infatti volevo capire che cosa ne sarebbe stato dopo di Nuova Gerusalemme, tutte le persone che c'erano lì.
Hiya, Kate.
Hi. Hi. I wanted to ask you,
Yes?
I wanted to ask you out, like, on a date.
A date.
Yeah, date. It's this whole human
Tradizione umana.
Yeah.
I'm in. Let's go.
Really? Now?
Why? Are you busy?
No. No. Well, I mean, let me check. No, I'm good. No, of course not. Yeah, let's go.
Checking the output. It's working. Pellegrino, did you just actually do it right? I think that's a first. I'm almost proud of you.
Do you think we'll get it right this time?
I think so. I'm sure we'll make mistakes, but we'll learn from them. What do you think?
Same thing I always thought. We can do anything, as long as we're together.
Oh, Talos Principle 3? No, qui sicuramente proseguirà tutta la storia, spero, nell'espansione. Che gioco, ragazzi. Che gioco, mamma mia. Oh. Allora, intanto che voi vedete la sigla, i titoli di coda, io cerco un attimo di capire quanto durano i dietro le quinte, perché a questo punto, visto che sono appena 10 minuti di puntata, ce li potremmo vedere. Li avevo messi da parte, se non erro, eh. Sì, ce ne ho 1, 2, 3, 4. Durano in tutto una cinquantina di minuti. Però questo forse non è molto interessante. Qui c'è un'intervista con tutto il team. Allora, io direi prima questo. Scusate. Direi prima questo. Per il momento, poi magari gli altri li vedremo un'altra volta. E poi questo, che sono sempre dello stesso intervistatore, diciamo. Ok. E questi magari ce li teniamo per la prossima volta. Ok. Va bene. Vi voglio bene, ma diciamo che per il momento lasciamo stare. Break the loop. Giustamente poi ci sono gli altri finali, che magari quelli ce li andiamo a vedere su YouTube, o ve li andate a vedere voi su YouTube. Vi ricordo che ho già comprato l'espansione, quindi fatemi sapere se volete vederla, cioè se vi fa piacere vederla immediatamente. Quindi proseguiamo subito con le espansioni, che vi ricordo, se non lo sapete, che tutte questi tre pacchetti che fanno parte dell'espansione in tutto durano più o meno come è stato tutto Talos Principle, quindi io vi avviso che ci saranno almeno altre 30-40 puntate in caso, quindi è per questo che vi chiedevo, magari facciamo una piccola pausa con qualche altro titolo, facciamo passare, che ne so, le vacanze di Natale eccetera, e poi magari riprendiamo anche un po' più freschi Talos Principle. Questo non lo so, decidiamo insieme tranquillamente. Ok, allora adesso ci mettiamo in browser e vado. Questa è la prima. Vediamo un po' sottotitoli, cerchiamo di tradurli automaticamente, vediamo che casino può venire fuori. Poi io la mando leggermente velocizzata, così ci risparmiamo 4 minuti più o meno, che non è male. E via.
Crow Team is back with the serious business of the Talos Principle 2. Following on from the Talos Principle 1, which was I think it's fair to say an unexpected success in some ways.
Perché inaspettato?
It was interesting back then, you know, because there was no signs of any possible success of games like that. But we still believed in it and went for it, and it turned out to be really good. You know, so it raised expectations for Talos 2. So it took us a long time to be kind of brave enough to try to fill in those shoes.
Io ci credo che ci avete messo tanto, eh. Porca miseria. Cioè, ora ripensate un attimo a tutto quello che avete visto, a parte i puzzle, che già quello da solo fa tantissimo in fatto di progettazione, ma tutti gli ambienti, tutte le strutture che avete visto, Madonna.
So I always thought about the game that it sits on 4 pillars: the story, the core gameplay, the visuals, and audio, for example, right? We need to find some way for the game to be really beautiful. I never doubt that Damian will do his magic again, so audio is covered. With the story and core gameplay, it was a little harder. It took us like almost 5 years of thinking, planning, you know, just doing other stuff. But from time to time, a great idea would pop up from the sky, universe, whatever. And, you know, over time, we build up a solid ground of ideas for the core game mechanics and for the story universe that was, you know, oh, this is really something good, beautiful, has a form, has potential, and
5 anni,
so
ragazzi.
build up with excitement good enough so we can, you know, be brave enough to step into that one.
How did you balance trying to create a worthy sequel that you would be proud of and also keeping the fans of the first game?
Oh, if you change too much or change anything, people will complain. If you don't change, people will complain. It's always difficult to make sequels, right?
Certo.
So that's why.
Beh, allora, per quanto mi riguarda, a livello di meccaniche di puzzle, ovviamente se mi riproponevi le stesse meccaniche del precedente, non mi sarebbe piaciuto. Cioè, nel senso, sì, ok, magari avresti trovato anche modi più originali o diversi di usare sempre le stesse meccaniche, però cioè, è indubbio che una grande fetta di fascino del 2 sta proprio nelle nuove meccaniche, nel fatto che ogni hub, in realtà quasi ogni livello, no? Ogni macro livello, che sono 12, aveva le sue meccaniche. Poi, non bastasse tutto questo, ci hanno infilato un epilogo con un'altra nuova meccanica che si usa solo lì. Cioè, io
We were like really careful to I don't know, make something that would feel as a sequel and still be really new and unique.
Philosophical zombie mode. Okay.
When did you start thinking about Talos 2 as a story?
It was around the time we were finishing Talos 1, and then during Road to Gehenna, the DLC, because first of all, we had to make a lot of decisions about where is it all leading, so that just to be able to answer questions inside the game itself. What are the characters trying to accomplish? What is going to happen at the end of this? What is the meaning of all this? And there's actually quite a bit of foreshadowing of Talos 2 already in Talos 1 and in Road to Gehenna, some of which I had forgotten. So when we were making this, I was going back, I was like, how about we do this? And then I was looking at the text and I was like, oh, we already decided to do this back then, and I forgot because it's been so long.
Talos 1 was what makes a human being a human being. Talos 2 is what makes a civilization a civilization. What does a civilization owe to the world that it inhabits and to its members?
We want to show a civilization that is at the point where things can go in different directions, and to show that there is hope there, there's possibility there, things can evolve. We ourselves could still solve our problems and build a better world. At the same time, we want to deal with the fact that that's very difficult and that it's difficult to maintain that faith when a lot of people think that we're a virus and everything we do is terrible and that there is no hope at all, that fundamentally humans are just bad.
Where do you find your inspirations for the kind of more positive perspective that you want to portray?
That's hard. I quite like the movie Sunshine. There's Interstellar, which has some of that, and old Star Trek. And there's some writers here and there. Ian Banks has The Culture, which we referenced briefly in the game, where there's this kind of utopian, kind of anarcho-socialist society or something, and that has AIs and things, and you think, yeah, that's a lovely world to live in. I'd like to live in that.
For the first game, we had a lot of the game made before the story came in, and this one was a little bit different. I gave them freedom to go ahead and invent the universe, places, locations, and then we will fit in with the rest of the game. That changed a lot. I hardly find words to explain how much I resonate with the feel, and this is really cool. You know, Jonas, Verena, and Tom, and you know, they set up this very nice, warm feeling of the science fiction of the 50s, 60s, like the old books, where you could feel excitement and the beauty of the possibilities of the future.
Vero, non ci avevo mai pensato a questa cosa, vero? È quel senso di meraviglia tipico dell'età dell'oro della fantascienza, vero? Letteraria, intendo.
wanted the Talos Principle to feel familiar for players who already played the first game. So we kept some mechanics from the first game. I think ones that we felt were the best. Jammer, connectors for the beams, and pressure plates, cubes and stuff like that go well together. And we imagined the new mechanics that go well with the old ones. So they are kind of expanding the experience that's already familiar. I concluded the more people we include into making those puzzles, more wider scope of puzzles we will have in the end.
And hopefully just as much player satisfaction.
Of course.
When you design the puzzle, you have to consider every way that puzzle can be solved in. And sometimes you have to leave player a little leeway so he can solve it his own way. And there's those small bits, moments where you are just like in a puzzle and you realize, oh, I have to take this item, do this, and then you solve the whole puzzle. And that's the fun part. We are trying to make them not as complex. It's mostly about that moment that there is just logical leap that you have to do in a puzzle. The aha moment, yeah, the eureka moment.
Allora, sì, in effetti, ora che ripenso a tutti i puzzle, non erano difficili in senso frustrante, cioè nessuno è stato difficile in senso frustrante. Erano tutti brillanti in quanto a concezione e progettazione, e ti lasciavano molto spazio per ragionare. E poi sono stati bravissimi a dosare i momenti di svolta, nel senso che a volte chiaramente utilizzi delle meccaniche nuove che non avevi utilizzato prima di quel momento, ma altre volte utilizzi proprio una modalità di ragionamento diversa. Cioè guardi le cose che hai visto fino a quel momento da un'altra angolazione, e questo è fantastico in un gioco del genere.
We are mostly trying to design in Talos 2 Principle puzzles that have a eureka moment instead of them just being a lot of repetition in the puzzles. Yeah.
This is
avete fatto benissimo.
Yeah, this is we have this box here, box stacking puzzles. The thing is, the problem is you pull out the wrong box and it all just
nothing works anymore.
Gameplay wise, it's going to be better than Talos 1. So that's I think the puzzles are more mature. The old one returned, so we have we didn't have rush to make Talos 1 and then you go straight to Talos 2 and Talos 3. So we kind of have
Talos 3?
A couple of years to reflect what went good, what went wrong, and then make all the best from Talos 1. So.
The Talos Principle 2 real-life puzzle fight. In the colourful corner, we have level designer Mika. In the wooden corner, we have writer Verena. Ready? Go!
I tetramini.
We have a winner!
Yes!
One thing that is also important that we changed was the difficulty curve. It goes up with each new mechanic. We make a few introductory puzzles which are obviously simpler just for people to get the new mechanic, and then we raise the difficulty towards the end of that cluster, and then we finish, and then we lower it again with the new mechanic. You're learning new mechanic, and then it raises again, and then
I think
that's much easier to play and much more fluid.
È divertente,
a lot of puzzles that are way harder than they should be. So we removed those and left the balanced ones. So we had a lot of material to work with, to say the least.
You keep the hard ones for the DLC,
yes,
of course.
We keep the hard ones for the DLC. And also,
let's
say it will be exceptional things to see there.
Oh, ooh. Hey, there's nothing artificial about your intelligence.
Quindi ci aspetta un bel DLC, ragazzi,
Since the 1990s, Crow Team has been working in the Sirius engine. This is the first ever game that Crow Team has done in another engine, right?
Yep.
And you decided to go for Unreal Engine. Why did you decide to make that move for this game?
Modern day development is very hard, very complex, and people expect you to perform as well or look as well as the next game. And going after that graphical fidelity is the main reason. But also there are other benefits. Now there's a huge community and a huge pool of knowledge we can draw from. There are colleagues that were driving this from the artist side. So we have a very good technical artist, Tomislav, that I'd like to mention. He was pushing the features, using the features, finding ways to use them, talking with other people also from Epic. Just insane amount of knowledge and in a very quick time.
We love Sirius Engine, we love aspects of this Sirius Editor and stuff so much that we implemented a nice set of tools and improvements to Unreal Engine, editors and stuff.
Oh, so you can't keep your hands off it.
No.
You've still got to fit
a little bit, a little bit.
Okay. Do you think it's allowing you to really just focus on the job of making games?
Yeah, these days I think so. Previously we had to plan to spend and use our resources, good amount of excellent people working on, upgrading technology and trying to catch up and whatnot, invent some new stuff. But now those guys could enjoy making, code for the new games.
Fantastico.
Damian in the house.
Damian in the house. Damian in the house. Damian in the house. Damian in the house.
No.
Damian in the house. Damian in the house. Damian in the house.
Cringissimo.
It's amazing. When you were working on the Talos Principle 1, I remember you saying that it was a very sharp turn in a new direction for you musically. Are you more comfortable with making this genre of music that maybe is very different for you still?
No. No, it's still a very sharp turn, Every new project, I try to reinvent the wheel, to do something a little bit differently, because it makes me more engaged. It makes this composing and creative process more fun to me. It just makes me a better composer, I'd say. The story of the Talos 2 is now more grandeur. It's a bigger game, larger, better game. It has so many things up to 11. The scale went up for Talos 2. And suddenly the music felt too small. For every game that we do, I try to find some equivalent in the gaming world or film.
Sì, ci sta assolutamente.
Music I listen to so many different soundtracks, I looked at so many games, played a lot of them, just to observe. I mean, it's always Hans Zimmer,
Oh.
It's like Hans, yeah, it's Hans again. Sorry, guys.
It's always Hans.
It's always Hans, yeah. But there is a guy called Stephen Price. I think he won an Academy Award for the Gravity soundtrack, and that soundtrack blew me away. And so I even introduced guitars. Not those 7/8 strings.
This is not Serious Sam.
It's not Serious Sam, but
careful.
Those are some, Pink Floyd type of guitars.
Okay, lots of big reverb.
Lots of reverbs and wailing and stuff like that. So we have guitars, we have even some drums, It's not like in Sam, it's drums. This time I would say it's synths. I have a guest composer.
Really?
Yeah.
Who is this?
It's Chris Christodoulou. He's a Greek composer who did Risk of Rain.
Right.
And he's an amazing person and amazingly talented composer. I will guest compose a song for Chris' latest project, and he's doing the Risk of Rain Returns, and he will do a song for the Talos Principle 2.
Ma penso te.
What other collaborations have you got up your sleeve?
I never hired a singer. This is going to be the first time for me, and an amazing German singer called Julie Elven will perform one of the songs in Talos. Should be an amazing experience. She's very talented, has a beautiful voice.
So what kind of styles are we covering?
Actually many. We are taking you on the 4 sides of the world, in this new experience called Talos 2. Each side of the world, like east, west, north, has its own instrumentation. I mean, they all share something. You can actually notice it's Talos, but there are some specific instruments that are used only for certain regions.
You do all the sound on Talos 2 as well?
Yeah, it's all sound design. It's music and sound.
I didn't realize that. I don't know who I thought did it, but I didn't realize you were doing all of that.
I did all the sound on Sam 4 as well.
Talos 2 team photo. Everybody say algorithm.
Algorithm.
Talos Principle 2, I don't think you intended that it would be quite on the scale that it is now.
It's like when you're trying to cook the frog, you know, it doesn't know until it's, you know, there's no single moment, it's just gradually.
It's a good metaphor.
Happens. Well, this one, I'm not very skillful at that, to be honest. I have to work on that, but I've learned my lessons. The players will enjoy it for sure, right? But the production side of things, it is really a big game.
So everything is up to 11, everything is so amplified this time. It's like a full-blown experience, like Talos 1 was just a trailer. It will feel like that, and here comes Talos 2. It's gonna be large, big, bold, loud, brash. It's gonna be, on the other hand, humble, small, intimate. You know, it's gonna make you think. It's gonna make you angry when you can't solve the puzzle. Ooh, the puzzles! I love the puzzles.
Yeah.
You you nervous though about how it's going to be received by the players?
No, I'm very confident about it, so maybe that's my famous last words, but we will see.
I think Talos 2 is going to be better than Talos 1. We have simultaneously released on all platforms, which also benefits of Unreal.
Yeah.
So that's something that we didn't have on Talos 1.
Yeah.
So that's a big push.
We learned a lot, very excited about the tech, and it gives me great confidence to see what the team is capable of in such a short time with so many new things going around.
It's very ambitious. It's a bit more ambitious than I personally thought it would be. The ideas that are in there and the way that they are told, I'm very happy.
It seems like one continuous thing, not something that we attached later on to the first one. It seems like this is one story. And I think that's a pretty good sign. It feels meaningful to me. It feels like it has real heart.
It's been 9 years. I'm scared. You know, everything has changed. The world has changed. The players' habits have changed. You know, the amount of games that's coming out also has changed. You know, everything is up to 11 now, you know. So we will do the best we can, you know, to make the best game. And I think the game is really, the puzzle is amazing. The story is thought-provoking. It will make you think, you know. That's the story of Talos 1 made people think. That's one of its strongest assets, you know. And this one will make people think harder. It will bring up new questions. It will maybe provide some answers.
We hope it's beautiful on audio-visual side of things, and that it, you know, challenges you mentally, intellectually, right? And that it brings very special writing and a story that is, yeah, that's the goal. That was our aim.
Bravi. Bravi, bravi, bravi. Vabbè, ok. Poi, questo.
Zagreb, Croatia.
Aspetta che non ci sono i sottotitoli. Ah sì, ok, ci sono.
Kingdom of Croatine, 30 years of game dev royalty.
Bello.
Have you ever had a long-term plan?
No, never ever.
One thing that I've heard a couple of times already, and it's the goal of making any game is for it to be successful enough to make the next game.
Yeah, that's, I've heard that in Jonathan Blow, amazing Jonathan Blow interview. That's exactly the truth. You know? It's not always easy. You have good times, bad times, but you know, we are here and the first 30 years.
The first 30 years, yeah, the next 30 years.
Oddio, ma quello dietro intanto sta programmando, cioè sta lavorando al gioco? A un livello del gioco con l'editor?
It was very exciting.
Guardate.
It was very good, I would say. You know, bumping here and there.
Scusate, ho perso.
And the first 30 years.
The first 30 years.
Sono distratto.
The next 30 years was very exciting.
It was very good, I would say. You know, bumping here and there, but still enjoying, going strong, looking forward, excited for the future. That's it.
What things do you look back on and feel most proud of?
I mean, it was amazing that we finished and delivered the game.
Or any game?
Any game, yeah. I'm talking about First Encounter. This is, you know, the part when I joined Croteam was in 1999. So once we got the deal, you know, with the Gather and Go developers, now it was time to prove ourselves. We can finish the game.
Che forte che era.
For the first game, from the Croteam point of view, but from the personal, working with guys, for like 40 or something years. So I know Dean from elementary school.
So we were very young and naive. We didn't even know what we are getting into.
You don't know what you can't do at that age, right?
Yeah, you don't know.
Anyway.
Yeah, it was. We will make a game, and it was never. We never even thought we could not do it. So we just need to make the engine, then tools, and then the game on top of it. And none of us knew how to do any of it, you know. I had the feeling we will make the best game in the world. I made the game, but I played it every day. I didn't want to play any other game more than I wanted to play our game.
But at that time, at First Encounter, it was just like a rock band doing it all together, you know, making our first record. And I remember the last day before we delivered the final gold build. So we go to the living room and I turn on the speakers, we shut down the light, it was like a movie. We sat and we played the beginning of the game and the guys are like, we've done it. At that moment, you don't know if it's going to be remembered, you know. But now, 25 years later, you're pretty sure all they remember.
Però qua si parla più che altro di Credo Sam.
What was the worst single moment?
Aspetta, scusate, ma a sto punto ci concentriamo su... Ah, ok.
Yeah, some of those guys, they returned back with a new experience. Okay, here. Actually, the story about the Talos is fun because it started as a Serious Sam 4, and the people complained that we need to put maybe something else apart from fighting, and then we experimented with some stuff. I created puzzles, and more complex puzzles I created. It was more fun to play. We knew we have something good on our hands. It became out of the scope of Serious Sam game, and then we created completely new game, and it went amazing. And then we really made two completely different games, which were all both very praised. So I'm very proud of that.
Talos 1 came out, and everyone was like, "Oh shit, that's Crow Team." Didn't know they could do a game like that.
Yeah, it's like, no, you're kidding. Like the guys who made Serious Sam, like the brainless shooter of, you know, like,
come on, they didn't make that.
You know? No, that's like, and it was good marketing. But you know, we didn't plan for it. We had more than just Serious Sam in us, right? The first game, you know, actually the first game that we made, I made solo before the Crow Team, was a puzzle game. Then we all went into making sport games, the Full of Glory, and that was our first game that we ever published. I've seen so much passion about Serious Sam games, but even like 5 times more about the Talos Principle. So it's life-changing. That game is pretty special in a way how it touches people. It's maybe more than a game. I don't know, I've seen thousands of comments like being the best game ever. You know, it's strange, you don't see that even for Serious Sam. That's something very special about the Talos.
Well, at least I can say for myself, I wasn't expecting this, you know, but Crow Team has kind of megalomania. Now we have like a second IP, right?
What does it mean to be part of Crow Team? What is it about Crow Team that's kept you here?
It's an unusual company that has kind of very peculiar strengths and sort of things that interest them that they pursue, which also means that there is space for you to do things, i.e. like they trust you to write something like Talos 2, which has unusual themes for a video game and goes to unusual places, and they're like, okay, you do this, we'll do that. You have relative freedom to work and to just do stuff and get away with it.
They listen to everybody's input, which isn't always...
Per carità è interessante, però... Più che altro mi interessava sapere la roba di Talos Principle 2. Vabbè, però abbiamo avuto un focus prima su Talos Principle 2, quindi non credo che dicano cose in più.
You can hardly find the words to express the gratitude and for how thankful we are for all of our people who played, enjoy our games, and all the messages, all the reviews that they post, and even in a really small amount of bad times that you have in your life, it's enough like half an hour of going to the Steam and reading through the comments of Serious Sam or especially Talos Principle, and it's like everything is erased in a second. Like you cannot imagine how much that means to someone who wants to make games. I hope that people will be able to feel the joy that we have while developing the games. Thank you, thank all of our people for giving us opportunity to have this life.
But you created the opportunity through creating the games.
Well, it's like you get to the market, I don't know, bring your carrots. If nobody would buy them, I wouldn't be able to go back and forth. If people buy them, then it makes sense for me to go back and grow carrots again.
Well, thank you all for buying Devil's carrots.
Ok, allora aspettate che ne cerco altri. Allora, ho trovato questo che è molto breve, parla specificamente dei puzzle.
Did you end up cutting a lot out? I mean, always game development is more about what you cut out than what you put in. But did you find like there's a lot of puzzles and maybe even writing that you had to like put to one side and say, you know what, yeah, that doesn't quite fit, or it's a little bit wonky, something like that?
We did a lot of puzzles, more than we probably needed to do, but that was always a requirement also in Talos 1, because you don't know which puzzles will work and which you won't. You do puzzles that you have time and ideas for, and then you put it on the testing and see how they go, and then you decide which one will go in and which one will not. So there is certainly the double number of
Il
puzzles than
doppio.
there will be in the game. But that doesn't mean that players are missing something. Just on the contrary, most of those were maybe not poorly designed, or maybe easy, or maybe sometimes recycling the same idea, which is
Va bene, certo, se avete fatto delle scelte ci mancherebbe.
new to the table, and or even too hard, but we choose the right ones. And this time the first time we just used the subjective process, kind of. This time we were more analytical. We had many testers going through it. They were giving grades for the difficulty and fun. So we had some actual metrics that we could reference to when for the puzzle selection that ended up in the game. There is whole mechanical puzzle clusters that we had, that we made all the puzzles and everything. And in the end, it was the poorest graded puzzle cluster, and really very love and hate, but like half and half, and you cannot have half of players not liking your thing, no matter how other half is liking that. So we had to cut that out, but we replaced that with something new, and who knows, maybe one day players will be able to see even that cut out one in some way, shape or form.
Oh, it's not one of the main ones. It's just what they call the lost levels.
It's strange that some of these puzzles seem disconnected from the rest, like it's all unfinished or still evolving.
Well, so this is the problem when you're making the puzzle game. You expect that every player or 99% of players that start the game can finish all the puzzles. So then you have the lowest common denominator for puzzle difficulty, because even the worst player have to pass through the puzzles. And then you have some very clever puzzles. Sometimes you design very, very clever puzzles, and you are sad because it proves that testers in very large percentage cannot solve within some reasonable amount of time. So you have to pass on that puzzle because it was just too ingenious, maybe. So that's why we also, I think I already mentioned that, we changed the structure of the game a bit. So now we have some redundant puzzles, and you won't have to solve each and every puzzle of the game to finish the game. But we also find the formula to put the most difficult puzzles inside for players to be able to taste even those. Of course, they are not obligatory, but they will be somehow protected, because also, you don't know that it's not for you until you try it. And then if you try it, and then if you try each and every, it can be really frustrating if you cannot solve the puzzle for a long amount of time, and it can actually decrease the experience of the game. You have to kind of prove yourself, yes, that you are worthy of solving the hardest puzzles. Yeah.
There's something there that also relates to the story, which is that in the original Talos Principle, if you pursued the hardest ending, in a way it was compelled by the logic of the story to be less satisfying in a way, right? If you obey Elohim that much, then you just get, in a way, a less good ending for yourself. And in the same way, getting the sort of regular ending is also, it's, some people enjoy it, but there is kind of a logic that compels it to be what it is, and I'm not like upset about that. I think that's just inherent to what the game was. But I think for Talos 2 there are very nice rewards for doing the very hard stuff, while there's also, you can have a proper ending without that, but then the rewards for pursuing the very difficult things are actually appropriate to that, so you can really achieve things that feel good, and you feel happy that you've done them.
Ok, poi c'è questo che è in realtà un'intervistona. Questa è un'intervistona.
So that it took us a while to be kind of confident and brave enough to try to
Che dura 25 minuti, quindi un po' troppo ormai per lo scopo di questo video. Magari questa ve la lascio da vedere per conto vostro. Si chiama Exclusive Interview The Talos Principle 2. Ce l'avete qui sotto, Bene, è giunta l'ora di salutarci. Io vi ringrazio tantissimo per il supporto, per la compagnia e per l'affetto che avete dimostrato lungo tutta la serie. Adesso io non so quando affronteremo l'espansione. Vediamo un attimo anche le vostre idee. io propenderei per fare una pausa con qualche altro titolo, che adesso cercherò di decidere, anche per dare un po' di varietà, no, al canale, perché 80 episodi uno dopo l'altro di Talos Principle 2, visto che l'espansione si preannuncia lunga più o meno come questo, non lo so quanto, non lo so, ma cioè non ci sarebbe neanche problema in tal senso, però volevo dare una piccola svolta, ecco, al continuum del canale di questi ultimi mesi. Fatemi sapere cosa ne pensate, io vi ringrazio tantissimo, vi saluto, alla prossima, ciao, buon weekend, visto che oggi per voi è venerdì.